I want to talk about how to vote on the Cadabra Finance protocol and how to receive rewards through this voting. Perhaps it's worth saying a few words about why there is an opportunity to receive rewards for voting. And for this, you need to understand how Cadabra works. Cadabra is a yield aggregator. What does this mean? Here we see so-called strategies. This is where we, as users, can provide liquidity in order to receive some return, some APR. So for instance, I have a deposit in the USDC strategy. Let's go there. And for making the deposit, receive a reward in the form of a native token in the form of an Abra token. At the same time, what is meant by an aggregator? An aggregator means that the liquidity brought by the Cadabra users redirects to other platforms, that is, to other protocols. In this case specifically, this USDC strategy, we can see that the liquidity is redirected, essentially offloaded, into these two protocols, Venus and Stargate. Basically, these are market leaders, reliable protocols on the BSC chain. And why does the liquidity go there? Because these protocols provide yields, meaning they offer some rewards in the form of their own tokens or some other tokens, for the fact that essentially the liquidity is there. At the same time, as you might have noticed, I, as a user, do not worry about how many of these sources, how many tokens are there. Everything is simple for me. I receive my rewards in the form of ABRA tokens. What is more convenient for me than receiving, say, 10 different tokens? Then the question arises, if I receive rewards in an ABRA token, who receives all those tokens that generate this liquidity? And the simple answer is, they are received by those who vote on our platform, Cadabra Finance. To vote, the mechanics here are essentially the same as on Monolith. In other DeFi projects, we need to lock Abra tokens, that is, native tokens. You can lock from 30 days to 4 years. And after we've done the lockup, we will get what is called a lockup, or simply just a lock. Our tokens are locked. As you can see here, it shows until what date they are locked. And it shows how many so-called V tokens, in this case Viabra, I receive for this lock. I receive them in the sense that I receive them once. And now with the help of these tokens, meaning these tokens display the number of votes I have. With the help of these tokens, I can now vote. And what am I actually voting for? To understand this, it is necessary to figure out how so-called epochs work. That is, we can see here that the fourth epoch is now underway. We'll start in 5 days. If I vote now, I either vote for a strategy or a specific income source. I am essentially giving my votes there. And within the next epoch, the fifth epoch, all the returns that this strategy or the source I vote for will come to me. But, of course, not entirely to me, but in proportion to my and others' votes. For example, we can see here that 252,000 votes have already been cast here, and I only have 1,000. So, I choose my lockup. I have 1,000 here. If I vote, well, it turns out I will have 1/252nd share of all the rewards. But Cadabra already basically provides some kind of estimate. So, we don't need to calculate anything. It gives an approximate estimate of the expected returns I will receive next week in this column. Here, I can see how much I will get for 1,000 votes. And I have approximately 1,000 votes. Viabra. And yes, I can vote for the strategy as a whole. That means taking all the profits from all sources that it generates, the entire strategy. Or I can go here and see a more detailed breakdown. I can see a breakdown by specific source of each strategy. That is, we were on the USDC strategy, where it was visible. Where is the liquidity located? Yes? Here it is now in these two sources. And I can see them right here. So here's the Venus yield source, here's the Stargate yield source. Accordingly, here, again, the estimated projected amount of income that will be obtained per 1,000 votes. The rewards that we can get per 1,000 votes. And you can see that this estimate varies. Some sources yield more, some less. This depends on how much liquidity there is, how users vote, and overall, what the actual yield is. And I, as a rational user, will most likely vote for where the return is greatest. I mean, of course, I can vote anywhere. It's my right. Where I vote, by the way, also determines how the issuance to users will proceed. That is, this yield, user screen. The more we vote for a particular strategy, the more emission will go there, the higher the yield will be there, here. But also essentially with my vote, I will cast it for a rebalance. That is, for example, using these two sources. If I give more votes here, but it's more beneficial to vote here. So, this Venus and USDC will take a larger share here. So then liquidity will flow here. But in general, to put it simply, the voting mechanism is quite simple enough. I need to vote. And if we are talking about wanting to receive more rewards, it means I vote where their estimated value is higher. I can vote by giving all 100% of my amount, which is 1,000, to one source. I can also give it in some proportion, for example, like this. But I won't do it now. For me, it's easier to vote for one specific source. Let's do this. So I chose my lock. I chose where I will vote. And actually, I will vote now. And I remind you that I am voting for the next week, for the right to collect the income that this source will generate during the next week. So everything is working here for now. We're waiting for the information to update. It updated quite quickly. I see that I have already voted. While this 7-day period lasts, this epoch, I can revote as many times as I want. So I am allocating my votes. But if I realize I voted incorrectly or want to vote differently, I have that opportunity. Well, my votes have been cast. For the next week, I have cast my votes. Let's move to the rewards section. Here, I can already see the rewards that I can claim right here in this tab. So I voted before, and now I can actually collect these rewards. The votes I cast for the next epoch, meaning for the right to collect rewards for the next epoch, are visible here. So I see that I just allocated there. The same evaluation and assessment of how much I can earn next week, and also I see how much I am earning this week. I voted last week accordingly. I voted the same way last week for the upcoming week, which has already arrived, in fact. In essence, now I can see that based on the results of my previous voting. That is, while these 5 days last, I will be receiving returns from these two sources that I voted for last time. And yes, by the way, I'll say a little about rebase. Here you can see so-called rebase rewards are given. What is it? These are rewards that are undoubtedly given to all lock holders. That is, whether you vote or not, just the fact that you locked tokens, you are credited with Abra. You can even not vote, just lock it, say, for a year. Forget that you had a lock at all. You will come back later and see that tokens have accrued. And we will see here that there is a fairly high APR, but I also have a lock. This is 100% for the long term. That is almost 100%. Essentially, how can it be considered? you can consider that I am getting a 100% APR. Plus, if I vote as well, that's it. Here, for example, it is very profitable to vote here. If I vote here too and such returns persist, yes, over the course of the next week, such returns will really accumulate. Then I will get, well, about 370%. And again, just to note, this is not guaranteed returns, as in all of DeFi. In DeFi, APRs change, meaning they constantly change. Other users also vote. They can, maybe more users will vote here. Maybe someone will take the votes. Maybe next week's yield will be more or less. But as basically, Cadabra just provides an estimate. So we don't need to, something like sitting with a calculator and calculating what the expected return will be on my 1,000 votes that I give. So here, basically, everything is convenient. Everything all and the whole layout is there. But again, it must be understood that this is a projected return. That's basically it. I hope it's now clear how to vote and how to collect rewards. And why we even have them here for voters. Thank you.